Hello world. Hello world. My name is Mallory Medusa, or just Mallory. Um, I guess that I just wanted to make a video, or maybe more videos, about what it's really like to be a fentanyl addict and what that life is really like. You know, no lies, no cover-ups, no sugarcoating, no glamorizing, just the real uncut life of a drug addict for me, in my words at least. Um, I started using drugs. I started smoking weed and drinking when I was 15. The first hard drug that I did was ecstasy at 17 years old, and it kind of made me wonder what harder drugs were like. So, actually, right before I turned 18, I tried meth, but it was awful. It just made me stay up and my jaw hurt. But right after I turned 18, I tried meth again, and I was hooked. I loved it. I loved the feeling. I loved just that amazing feeling I felt radiate through my very core, from my head to my toes. Like, I felt okay. And I loved that feeling, because my entire life, since I can remember, I never felt okay. You know, I always felt like there was something wrong with me, or I didn't belong, or I wasn't good enough. I just wanted that feeling and that experience of just pure ecstasy and love and just okay with myself. Like, that's all I've ever wanted, you know? So, I dove into my addiction. By 3 months, I used a needle for the first time, and that definitely hooked me. But I didn't use a needle again until actually the first time I tried heroin, which was a few months later. I'll never forget, I met this guy named Scotty. He kept telling me it was so bad, but it's amazing, it's gonna change your life. And I did a water line, I didn't feel anything, and I called him, and we ended up meeting at, Albertson's bathroom, and I did my first shot of heroin, and I will never forget that feeling ever, just to rush through my body, the feeling of cuddling with an angel, and just pure happiness is the best way to describe it. Heroin and opiates have been a major problem for me since I was 18 years old. I've overdosed like maybe 12 or 13 times in my entire life, from heroin to fentanyl. And when I got into fentanyl, I'm going to fast forward, we'll go back into more of my story in later videos, but it's 2023, and May of 2022, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. It was very rare, but very aggressive and fucked up cancer, and it took my dad's life in August 21st of 2023, and as grateful as I am that I was there for my father, it was the most traumatic, most horrible, most life-changing event that I've ever been a part of, or I've ever experienced. To watch him take his last breath and then this black stuff come out of his mouth, it still haunts me even to right now, this very moment, 2 years later. And and that last breath of his was all I saw for 2 weeks, from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep. I was in school, when I was cutting hair, all that, like, that image just kept going into my head, and I just couldn't take it anymore. And I did reach out to my support group and my family, and I wasn't getting what I needed, or I felt like I wasn't getting, like, anywhere with talking about it, So I ended up relapsing, and on meth, and then 2 weeks later, I got back into fentanyl, or into opiates. And that first month I OD'd like 4 times, but I haven't OD'd since. fentanyl was the only thing that was able to silence or at least completely numb out my father's passing. I've had a lot of things go wrong, after a certain, a lot of things happened that weren't my fault. They were just life things, but they were big things, and they really fucked me up, and they really hurt me, and it just made me dive into my addiction more. Now, at 2 years later, I've lost, my relationships with all my family, or I'm too ashamed to deal with them. And also they are just, they're very cutthroat, I guess would be the best way to describe it. It's like they want me to be a certain way, they want me to do a certain thing, and I'm just not that way, and I'm not able to do what they want right now. I really, if there wasn't fentanyl, I would have killed myself 100%. I couldn't have walked through this. And I know that drugs change people, as they did myself. But at the same time, that was the only thing that kept me holding on. I'm sorry that me being a drug addict is a problem for my family and that it hurts my family. I'm sorry that I've hurt any of my family. I really am. But this is my life. And I don't mean that in a selfish, stuck up, naive, condescending way. I mean that as, this is my life, and I'm going to have to learn things and pick myself up and go through life experiences, because I really believe everything that I've gone through, because I've gone through a lot, is going to mold me into the person that God made me be. I really feel like everything I've gone through, especially in these last 2 years, I'm going to be able to help others with. I'm going to have a strong testimony, and who knows? I just know that I have a bigger purpose, and I also know that Jesus loves me, and I also know, most of all, that I'm a fighter, and I'm one hell of a person. I have so much love in my heart. I forgive quickly. I give so much love to others. I want others to feel good. I don't want others to hurt. Hurting is painful, and it stings, and it feels like it just goes forever and ever and ever. I actually have a meeting with an attorney for my daughter who's 10, and it's, you guys are probably thinking, why are you doing that? You're still using. Because I need something else to fight for. I need to fight for my daughter. And I don't know necessarily what is going to take me to get clean. I don't know what tomorrow holds, or next month, or the next year. But I do know that I'm alive, and that there's hope in being alive, And, how they say, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, accepting a different result. Well, that's the same thing for the way that families treat addicts as well. I really believe that love is the answer. Love is the biggest thing to help any addict get out of their addiction. Because if you guys just shun us, treat us like shit, and tell us all the things we're doing wrong, or nitpick at us, and focus on just nothing but the negative side of who we are, that's all you're gonna see. That's all you're gonna want to see. I'm not just my addiction. There's so much to me, and focusing on the negative part of me, and only the negative part of me, it's not fair. You know what? I'm alive and I'm here. And instead of treating me like shit, putting me down, I would love just to be loved and accepted and told that no matter what, you guys are going to be here. I'm not telling you to enable me. I'm just saying I just want your presence. I want to know that I am loved to the point that you're going to sit with me, even if it's in silence. And I know you'll be there. Because experiencing pain and addiction and isolation and rejection is painful. Because I still love you guys. I still miss you. And I know I'm not innocent in this, and it's not a poor me. It's more like such a deep sadness. For everything. I think about the people I love the most all the time. And at this point, I don't know. All I know is death is really hard. Life is really hard. But I know I was made and I'm going to be used for something special. I've been told that my whole life. Because I shouldn't have a leg, I shouldn't be walking, I shouldn't be alive. I mean, I had something happen to me at 18 months old, and I'll share that probably in the next video. But, if anybody's watching this who's not an addict, I suggest that whoever it is that you love that is suffering with addiction or alcohol or drugs or whatever, I challenge you to call or text that person and just let them know that you love them and that you're here. Because I promise you that addict who's going to get that message or that call is going to be so thankful and so just, there's going to be a hope that will be seated within them. Because we really don't want to do this alone. Our addiction, we're completely alone. Love really is the answer. It truly is. Love that addict. You don't have to love their behavior. You don't have to love the addiction. But you need to love that addict. Because they deserve to have love. And they deserve to know that they're loved. Feeling like you're not loved is literally like the most painful thing in the world. It makes you feel like, what's the point? It's a fucked up place to be in. Anyways, like I said, my name is Mallory, and I hope somebody could take something from this video, or whatever, different strokes for different folks, but I just wanted to say, addicts, I love you. I get you. I understand you. I'm here for you. You are not alone. No matter how alone and isolated and just hopeless and unsavable you may feel, it's not true. That's the lies of the devil telling you that bullshit. You're a beautiful thing. God made you with such love. And He loves you. Jesus, when He came down here to be a human, to be with us, He didn't go after all the ones that had it together. He went after all the ones that didn't. Jesus went for the ones who didn't. Jesus wants to save, and Jesus wants to love, and Jesus wants us to all love another. So let's be more like Jesus instead of the earthly assholes that we are. Alright, that's about all I have. Again, I love you. Jesus loves you. And don't go anywhere. Your purpose is still on to still be here. Don't speed it up. Stay. For the love of God, just stay.